Alright. Alright. Hello, everyone. My name's Stump, and this is going to be Crash 1 Any %. Time will start when I select start from here, so 3, 2, 1, go. So we got a few levels to get through, and that's what we're... Oh, any % pretty much only means I'll be going through all of those without necessarily having to get any particular thing in them other than to get to the end. However, because of those extra things to get, I will, in most cases, be intentionally dying and respawning at a checkpoint at least once in each level. And that's because when you complete a level without dying and respawning at a checkpoint, well, if you also broke all the boxes, you get the level's gem. But if you didn't break all the boxes, then the remaining boxes get dropped on your head one by one. And that takes a while. So we want to avoid that. And I'm also doing some zigzagging during my jumps because that does move you a little bit faster. So this checkpoint is where I'm going to do this level's death abuse. In the pit rather than off of the rolling boulders because of the faster death animation. But now we can continue through this level. Now the next level is going to have a couple of side-scrolling sections. Where you can really see the zigzagging in action. But other than that, I'll pretty much be spinning whatever is in my way, including those sideways platforms. And that will be our death abuse for this level. And then we head back to the left. Then spinning down those will slide down there a little bit faster. Spinning there caused that not to hit me. And so I got ahead of those cycles there. And now we have boulders. And the extra speed from zigzagging in this will actually get me somewhat ahead of the boulders. Normally they're right on your tail. All I have to do is not fall into pits. And this will be the death abuse point. And now, through this last chase. by squeezing it a little bit, you can get directly from that last platform onto the exit. So now we have upstream. Now this one, you run into the leaf platform cycles a lot. Also, when you do that, you get the pit animation rather than the drowning one, so that gets you death warped a little bit faster. And with those, we reach the first boss. This is Papu Papu. I have to hit him 3 times and avoid the attacks with that staff. And not have him fall on me at the end. And Rolling Stones is similar to Jungle Rollers with those rolling stones. And that snipe for that extra life box works out nicely. Similarly to sniping the mask there. Alright, Hot Wild is... this level is an auto-scroller, and it also wouldn't let me keep my mask, which is why I didn't bother getting the second one there. But because dying in here and respawning at a checkpoint will take a significant amount of extra time with how far away sources of death are from the checkpoints, I actually am going to get through this in without dying, let's hope, but I will be attempting to leave exactly 1 box unbroken. So we still have the gem cutscene, but at the shortest that it possibly can be. So yeah, that'll be the one we leave behind. Yeah, that's what the death abuses in the other levels are to avoid. And Fortress is the same type of level as the Great Gate, but much longer. Spinning in case I didn't quite make it over that. Also, there are those orange platforms that occasionally catch fire. Well, I guess that can serve as the death abuse. So we can say that while that was an unintentional death, it was not an unnecessary death. Climb up to the last side-scrolling section of this level. It was right next to a checkpoint. I didn't let go of the X button all the way after that first jump. That's what happened there. This checkpoint is where I normally would do the death abuse for this, because there's a pit right next to it, in both directions. I missed the cycle I'm normally on, so I didn't entirely feel right about how that one would line up. But that's the end of the fire cycles. And that finishes the first of the 3 islands. Here we have up the creek, which is sort of a more involved upstream. Also, even though this causes reversal of the overall controls, well, not doing that is the reason why they mirrored this second island in NST. So we'll go up the leaves here. Yeah, we have enough lives, we don't need that one. And this puts us at the second boss fight, Ripperoo. Where big TNTs float down, and well, you gotta explode them next to them. So we'll let this one flow down. But we have 2 masks, and we have 2 more hits to deliver. So we'll do that. this is a new type of level, and I'm getting that as a safety. But this is the one level where I actually am going to attempt to get the gem. And the reason for that is that it allows me to pretty much completely skip one of the levels near the end. So that means I need to get all the way to the end without dying and respawning at a checkpoint, breaking all of the boxes. That could have been really bad. And now we climb up the platforms that slide in and out. Oh, we gotta hit that switch over there to spawn some boxes at the top of this little climb here. You hear them pop in. Now we continue through here. Almost there. And we got it. So by having this, green gem platforms in later levels will be present, and that's what will allow skipping castle machinery. And here's another new type of level. Temple Ruins. Nice little echo in the sound. Ooh. Well, that can serve as our death abuse. And those crushers are insta-death even if you have masks. Yeah, the spin cooldown happened to me there. And this would be the death abuse point.
What have I got? What have I got?
That's better. that's another new type of level, the bridge levels with the falling planks across. I used my mask there to not have to deal with spinning the middle box out from those TNTs. Also, in the original here, you are able to walk across one tile wide gaps involving the falling boards. Which works out nicely. And then we have another boulder level. So that'll remove the gem cutscene. Yeah, there's no pit near that checkpoint, and the TNT death animation is very long. Yeah, this is one of the much more involved levels in this, particularly in 100%. But we're gonna do a little thing here. Now, to do that, I needed to be on exactly the right... I needed to start on exactly the right Z position. But it so happens that the Z position you spawn at works. So as long as I don't zigzag and only move right, I can get in position to do that. And then I'll have to drop down from there in order to do the rest of the level. So I still have to do this part and the side-scrolling section after it, and the climbing section after that. But then we'll be able to do the same thing. So we'll do our Death of Use here in order to respawn at the correct Z position. There we go. And this skips a lot of waiting for cycles. I do wish the spin timer were a little bit more generous, because as you can see I'm going a little bit faster whenever I do spin. But now the platforms get faster. And that's Sunset Vista. And then island number 2 ends with the next boss, Koala Kong. Hopefully the timing of the final boulder on at least the first couple phases will be such that I don't even have to look at them. And sometimes the TNT explosions can break the minecarts all the way across that lava gap. Yeah, there I am going to have to wait for a gap between the minecarts. But that didn't take too long. Now we start going through Cortex's factory. Now, I'll try and get my Z position here so that it wasn't quite out far enough for that, but let's see. That should work. I do not hit those. I still do hit those gray ones along the ground, so I have to attack them. But there aren't too many of those. I should have bounced. That's better. You can even carry this down to the next part. But this is where we gotta leave it because there's this front part there. hold right and fall down there. There's no need for the platform. And similarly, there's no need to deal with this platform puzzle. Let's go around it. Those sparks are something that a well-timed spin in the air can protect you from. It's alright to lose that mask. We need to do the death abuse anyway. And we got a nice quick death animation to do that with there. Thankfully, this box bridge isn't something that needs to be dealt with in this category.
This level is an absolute nightmare in 100%. There's multiple paths, actually. More than
Here's generator room. A type of level, a unique type of level. Those screens of vortex. There we go. All right, there we are. I got these two that are still okay to touch. And, well, apparently the end of level warp is dangerous in some way. And then we have toxic waste. This level pretty much amounts to moving forward and only forward and avoiding the barrels. And there is another checkpoint left, so I'm going to keep going and death abuse at that one so that I still have my mask until then. And here's where the bouncing barrels get introduced. That one's not too bad to deal with. But then we have this last one who throws bouncing barrels exclusively. Mighty jumping solves those problems. And with that, we have the next boss, Pinstripe. And we wait while Pinstripe fires wildly at us. And then we'll triple hit him here. But then for the rest, he'll only become vulnerable in certain spots. So I'm going to wait here by where the next point of vulnerability will be. Even though he has good sight to me. Oh, jump that a little bit. As long as I'm in that cowering animation, the shots won't hit me. But now we've got a bridge to cross. A much longer and more complicated one. It's nice that they made those turtles so that they cannot be spun forward, because then they would snipe the turtles ahead of you, which you need for bouncing purposes. And one more set. And that brings us to this infamous one. Spinning can protect you from those spikes. And this is all about moving platforms, intermittent platforms, and bouncing off birds. And also these staircases that you slide down if you land on them when they're down. This is the only checkpoint here, so this is where we will death warp. Unfortunately, that does not leave you at a good spot for that platform cycle, but that's how things are. Yeah, I don't think that one's one that I've fallen on before. Now, in this level,
What have I got?
Aku Aku serves as a light. But
What have I got?
he's on a timer, and that also means I lose my light if I take a hit.
What have I got? What have I got?
At many of these places, the side scenery is walkable,
What have I got?
but sometimes the passages between the rooms are a little bit narrower and hard to jump through.
What have I got?
And sometimes you can snipe the masks early, which causes you to have Aku Aku run out a little bit before you would get to the next one.
What have I got?
But
What have I got?
usually the next one will be in sight by that time.
What have I got? What have I got? What have I got?
And you can spin through the blades. And Jaws of Darkness may sound like it's going to be another darkness level, but it's actually another temple level. And I didn't try doing this in Temple Ruins. But you can spin through those spear traps. Not through the fire, though. Now you got spiders to bounce off of. There's spinning through one of the spear traps. And then up here we have what is known as Troll Snake. That's because if you spin him directly forward, he'll blow that TNT up, And in 100%, that prevents you from getting one of the Cortex tokens that you need to 100% the level. Doesn't really matter in any percent, but I would prefer not to forget when I do 100%. And then here is Castle Machinery, and this is the reason why we got the green gem from the Lost City. Because we can go up here, we can spin a bunch of the extra lives away to reduce lag, and we're finished. Although we do have 24 boxes that need to fall onto our head. This is why death abusing is important. Second to last boss here. Brio will throw those green things, hitting them does damage to him. Then he'll throw pink things in a number equal to the number of hits you have landed so far. So now there are going to be 6 pink ones. And then we reach the next phase. And I've got to jump off the rocks that fall here in order to have enough height for my bouncing on him to actually hit him. And there he goes. And this is probably what I would say the last real level here. This is the lab. You got those exclamation point boxes that open gates or close the floor. And you also got those spark things that you can spin through as long as you time it right. And you can 3D jump around those. There's the death abuse. And then if you position yourself just right, you can spin the switch that's inside that thing of TNTs. And you got useful scenery. And then you have the Great Hall. Probably the hardest level to improve. Now, in 100%, you would take a second path there to where Tawna is, and that would be to the 100% ending. But since we don't have that, we instead will be defeating Cortex, something that you don't do in 100%. And those green particles are, well, for the middle 3 hits you have to get multiple of them, but that's how you do damage. So we got 3 more hits to deliver. Yeah, sometimes that one can be a little bit tricky to get. Oh, get ready on time. Oh, well, I gotta get one more green particle there, and time will be when this particle hits. And time.
Nice run.
Thanks. Oh, that was Crash 1 any %. So, well, I'll be setting up Crash 2 Any % no-go. So, yeah, see you in a couple minutes.